I was born in Malden, Essex. My dad was a fisherman. He used to go fishing and we used to go with him at weekends. It was lovely. We had a lovely home. Really was nice. And Malden, I don't know whether you know, but it has the River Blackwater. Used to be able to go swimming all through the summer. And went to school, and yes, did all right at school, did fine. And I left school, I think I was 15 when I left school. And then, from school, well, I started off by looking for a job, and then I decided that I would go in the Land Army. And I did, and I was there for 2 years. I was at Enfield, Waltham Cross, Waltham Abbey, all round there. And it was good because it was company, and you got people, you were billeted with people, with in-house, so it felt very much like home. And we had some lovely people we lived with, and of course we were up very early in the morning, and then to bed very late at night. But it was very nice. I enjoyed it. And I was in the Land Army. The farm that I was on, we had the cattle, and you did help with that. But then I came out of that and went into the greenhouses, and growing tomatoes and mushrooms and things like that. So that's how I was in the Land Army, mostly doing the tomatoes. Then I did go into the farm to start with, but I preferred the tomato. I love gardening. And then I decided that I wanted to go in the Air Force. And they were then starting to take women into the Air Force, which they did. And I joined up. And I always remember my mother was a bit upset because she didn't really want me to go. But I went. I wanted to be independent, I think. That was it, mostly. And I went into the Air Force, and we started off at Cardington, where we did all our training. And then it was mostly office work we did there, but it came then to, what did you want to go in? Well, I decided then I wanted to go in balloons. I wanted to do the barrage balloons. And I went then to Birmingham, and we were stationed in Birmingham for a while. You had, there was about 10 to 12 people billeted in somewhere. It depended where you went, but billeted in a house. And of course you had a sergeant and a corporal, and you did guards at night. And yes, I enjoyed it. I lost a couple of balloons, and you got fined. I went then from there to Chelsea Square. I don't know whether you know where Chelsea Square is. No. It was a very upmarket place. Beautiful houses. As a matter of fact, it was Prince Bernhard that was in the house opposite us. And we took this big house over, and the balloon went into the gardens, because in the square there was a big garden, and the balloon went in there. And we were in this big house. It was a beautiful house, but we were fined. We used to do guards at night. You did so many hours during the day. You did so many hours putting the balloon up when it was wanted, going into the winch. That was why I used to enjoy going into the winch and letting it go. And of course, round there were some very big houses, very expensive houses, and we took quite a few chimney pots off. I always remember that. Those winches were exactly like driving a car. The only thing is, instead of going forward, it was the same more or less the same thing there. But the only thing is, you let the cable go. And the balloon would be on the floor. And everybody had to go round and start it up. You had to put it all so that it was perfect to be filled with the stuff that you filled it with. And then it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I mean, they really were big things. And then you kept them to the ground. You had them on hooks on the ground. And then everybody had to let them go at the same time. Well, the person at the winch had to make sure that that cable gradually came from there up, like that. Then when you got it straight, then you could let go and let it go up. But if you got a wind, they used to go like that. That's where we took chimney pots off, because if it didn't go straight up like that quickly, they used to sway, and they used to just get tangled round chimney pots and take them off. But I did lose two, I must admit. But it was something everybody did. And when you lost a balloon, you got fined. Fortunately, it wasn't too much, because we didn't get paid a lot anyway. We used to stand on the embankment there, looking out to the sea, and then they'd start coming over. Of course, all the balloons will have gone up, so a lot of the planes came down with those balloons. They did do a good thing. You know, I often used to think, well, people laugh when you say balloons, but they did an awful lot of damage, because the planes used to get wound round the cables. But it really was a big experience. And then, of course, we were there all through the war. I was in Chelsea, so all the bombing and everything. Used to go up on the King's Road. We used to go up into London quite a lot. We used to get caught in air raids and all sorts. We used to go down on the Thames and stand there and watch all the doodlebugs come over. And when they stopped, you ran like the clappers to somewhere safe. It was exciting. You felt excited about it. All these bombs and that at night. You know, when they came over London, it was terrible. It really was. They were coming down and down and down. Yes, you were frightened, but you were excited as well. Mm. We were in Chelsea Square, which was it's southwest London. It's only just outside, and it's near the King's Road. And, you know, I mean, they had the big bomb. I mean, I used to go home to my mum, and my mum lived on the Thames Estuary. We used to get bombs there. Then he used to go up to London, and we got them up there as well. But went all the way through that bombing, and it was very, very bad. But, as I say, I was young, and I think when you're younger you can face it. I certainly couldn't do it now. Frighten me to death it would now. But I mean, we used to run like the clappers down into the underground, and then walk over people that were all laying down there, you know, to try and get a night's sleep. And I often think, I say it wasn't very interesting. It was a very interesting part of my life, that war. I wouldn't say I enjoyed it, but on the other hand, I didn't mind it. I think it was because we were all together. You know, everybody was totally different then. I used to say the policeman used to come and sit with us to do guard at night. I always remember one of them. It was 222. We used to call him a little duck. So that was it.